What's up, everyone? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today we are talking week 9 college football bets. We have a lot of weekday games basically from here on out. Today we'll be talking the Tuesday Conference USA doubleheader. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. If you've done that, thank you. It helps us a lot, even just a like. And the subscribing helps a ton too. So appreciate you guys. We're also brought to you by Bet365, and they have a deal for those of you in Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, Colorado, Louisiana, Indiana, Arizona, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. What you'll do is click the link in the video description below. Make your first deposit. Bet $5 in any game, could be a side or a total. Whether it wins or loses, you will get $200 in the form of bonus bets. And it's pretty nice to have $200 extra to add to your bankroll and maybe use on some extra games, some greasy ones like tonight. You must be 21 or older, 18 in Kentucky. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let us go behind the glass to the Odd Shopper live odds screen. And we'll start our doubleheader with Sam Houston State taking on Florida International. This is the battle of who is less injured. Right now, the consensus is about a 5.5 everywhere. There is one rogue 6. The total in this game sits at 46.5. A 47 has popped up. So perhaps some money coming in on the over. But I think this handicap starts and ends with the injuries. Last week, if you were a Sam Houston backer, brutal run out for you. They lost their quarterback, Hunter Watson, really early in that game. But he wasn't the only one. They haven't had Malik Phillips at wide receiver for a while. Noah Smith was a late scratch, another top receiver for this team. Luke Eckert at tackle has been out, but that's a pretty deep position for them. On defense, they've been down 3 starters. Eric Basala on the defensive line, he broke his leg. Eamon Allen, their nickel's been out. And then Isaiah Nixon off the edge, he got hurt in the game. On the other side, it wasn't much better for FIU in a duel against UTEP, a game they ended up losing. They lost their quarterback in the game, which was a disaster. The backup also got hurt too, so they were on a third stringer. They haven't had Rocky Beers, their starting tight end. A couple depth receivers have been out. Shamari Lawrence at running back. Fortunately, that is a deeper position. And then they've kind of been thin at linebacker all season long. Reggie Pearson, a starter, retired after week 1. And Dwight Nuno, one of the backups, he's been missing the last 2 weeks. So it's pretty injury-riddled for both of these teams. I'll start with Sam Houston because they're going to be the tougher team to evaluate. They release a depth chart every single week. Injuries are not taken into account, which is pretty brutal. So like everybody I almost named is listed as a starter unless you're out for the year. That includes Hunter Watson, that includes Noah Smith, which is contrary to Keeler's press conference where he said Noah Smith's going to try to play this week, but it is more likely that he returns next week. Why are you releasing a depth chart if you're just putting out information that is not true? Anyway, that doesn't matter. I actually think they have a competent backup in Jace Bauer if he ends up getting the start. He's a very good rusher. We've seen him in a starting role with Central Michigan, and he should be solid enough. Hunter Watson is a better runner, but Hunter Watson also has some pretty concerning underlying metrics that have gotten them in trouble. 5 big-time throws, 12 turnover-worthy plays, only 5 of those turnover-worthy plays have actually been converted into turnovers, so he's run pretty hot there. But he is good on the ground. As far as how they match up against FIU at less than full strength, I'm not sure it's the best matchup for this team. When you look at FIU, their defense has actually been a strength for them this year. They're 46th overall. The problem is it's kind of balanced towards coverage. They're 11th at defending the pass, but they're 107th at defending the run. When you face Sam Houston State, you need to be able to defend the run because both their quarterbacks are mobile. Jay Ducker is a fine running back. They're pretty deep in that spot. And they're 83rd in run blocking. So that's a unit that is the strength of this Sam Houston offense. If you can't stop the rushing attack, you're going to run into problems against them. So that's the first concern I have. On the other side, I think the quarterback situation for FIU is a little bit better. It looks like Keon Jenkins is going to start. Now, this is still murky because somehow a beat reporter was at practice. Jenkins hasn't practiced yet, but apparently he's going to play. That's big for them because he by far has the best metrics, but it's still a little bit of a concern even if he's out there. He has 10 turnover-worthy plays, 6 of which have been converted to turnovers. but a 63% completion, 7.7 yards per attempt. He has pretty good receivers for this level. Patterson and Rivers have been just fine. They're deep at running back, even without Lawrence, Lexington Joseph, and Owens have been just fine rushing the ball for this team. But I'm a little more concerned with the defense of late. UTEP's backup signal caller, Locklear, was at 7 yards per attempt. They allowed nearly 6 yards per carry against Liberty. Salter was at 7.8 yards per attempt. They allowed 6 yards per carry. And it hasn't been the best schedule. It's not going to be in Conference USA, so they've shown enough cracks. On the Sam Houston side, I'm a little worried about this defense too, honestly. 7.3 yards per attempt to Cade McConnell, 8.4 to Jordan McLeod. That'll happen. But some of their production did come against like hard non-con teams. KJ Jefferson diced them up before he got benched. So honestly, I think there might be a little bit of juice on the Sam Houston defense and the opposite on the FIU defense, which has me concerned. To break down Sam Houston on the defensive side of the ball, they're 99th in total D, 126th against the run, 81st in coverage. The big matchup that they should exploit is this bad FIU offensive line. They're 129th in pass blocking, and Sam Houston is 32nd rushing the passer. I don't have a great feel for this game right now with all of the moving parts. If you force me to take a side at this very moment, it would be Sam Houston, but I would love clarity on Hunter Watson before making this. So this is largely going to be one that probably comes down to kickoff, probably is just one you're monitoring Twitter, monitoring the internet, seeing who's in, who's out for these two teams. Because this conference has been dicey regardless. I mean, you just look at what these teams have done. Sam Houston just lost to Western Kentucky. I don't think there's really any shame in that. Prior to that, they played UTEP. They beat Texas State in a wild game they should have lost. New Mexico State, Hawaii, UCF, and Rice. It hasn't been the best slate of wins. But with FIU, it's been even dicier. This team lost to UTEP. They played really close to Liberty, lost. Beat Louisiana Tech, somehow lost to Monmouth despite an 82% post-game win expectancy. So, road trip's hard, but it is going to be Sam Houston or pass, and this will largely depend on what we get with injuries. Second game up is a little clearer. We have a quarterback injury, of course. It just happens this way in Conference USA. But it is UTEP taking on Louisiana Tech. This game is 7.5 now in most spots in favor of Louisiana Tech. But I'm going to flip us over to the total screen. As you can see up at the top, there's total money line, a bunch of first half, and then really every quarter, as well as like props and stuff too. But I'm more interested in the total in this game, and it's ranging between 49.5 all the way up to 50.5. The first reason I bring this up is pace is quite good in this game. You have UTEP 24th in pace. You have Louisiana Tech 35th. So can we get some efficiency from these two offenses and maybe go over the total? UTEP's quarterback is hurt, Cade McConnell. He's out for the year, so they are turning back to their day one starter, Skylar Locklear, the FCS transfer. He's actually run about as bad as you possibly can for a signal caller. 8 turnover-worthy plays, 5 of which have been converted to turnovers. Their O-line, I think, has an advantage in this game. They should be better, at least, than what they're going to see on the other side. So some pretty decent foundational stuff I think UTEP can use to their advantage in this game. And both defenses are horrible. So if you get any offensive efficiency, this could easily go over the total. Right now, UTEP is 95th in total defense. Louisiana Tech is 118th. 118th. It's horrible. But I think it comes down to that because UTEP does have some injuries, of course. Cade McConnell's not the only one. Jaden Smith has been out for a while for this team. And because of some of their injuries, they have actually completely overhauled their offense, which is wild. This was an air raid offense to begin the year. They've dropped their pass rate all the way to 50%. And that's because their last 2 games, they've been extremely run heavy, 34% pass rate in the last game. They're down to a 41% pass rate in their last 3 games, which has actually come with some success. Like the offense has looked better since they've done this. And whether it's been Jolly or Jackson at running back, it hasn't mattered. Jolly had the fumble like in quarter 1 last week and he got benched. But then Jackson came in and he played well. So I do think UTEP has some success running the ball. When you look at the other side, there are some injuries on the Louisiana Tech defense. Zion Nason at defensive tackle hasn't played in a while. Michael Richard was out of their last game at safety. The week prior, he left on a stretcher. Isaiah McIlvain was really limited in snaps. He's one of their nickel defenders. And then CJ Harris, a backup linebacker, also missed. So right away, I think UTEP does have some success moving the ball. And at a 50 total, 50.5, even the 49.5, you just don't need that much success in order for them to get this over, at least if they do their part. Then on the other side, Louisiana Tech has already changed quarterbacks. They've gone to Evan Bullock, who has been good for this team. And the big difference he provides is you just don't have as many turnover-worthy plays. He only has 3 all year. He has run hot. None of them have been converted to turnovers. But that's good. I mean, this team has good receivers, and their run game isn't terrible. And you're facing UTEP's defense. And we talked about a lot of injuries. UTEP's defense is probably the most injured unit in this game. AJ Odoms has been out. Corey Chapman have been out. Both of these guys are expected to miss again. Trey Dunson, one of their depth linebackers, missed their last game, as did Landon Hullaby. And then Xavier Smith, I couldn't figure out if this was an injury or not. He's one of their starting safeties. He only made it through 25 of 63 snaps. I didn't have eyes on this game last week, so I'm not sure what the deal was with him. But as you can see, even if he plays, there's quite a bit of players out of this game. And all of them, or at least most of them, come in the back seven, which is important in this matchup because Louisiana Tech will throw the ball. UTEP is already 104th in coverage, and now you're removing players. Louisiana Tech they're passing the ball at a near 52% clip, and they're 35th in pace. They've also run just wildly bad in some of their efficiency stuff already this season. So I do think a greasy over is in play here. 49.5 is popped in some spots. It looks like it's meeting some resistance. I was waiting to see if this would get any lower than that, but I'm fully in on this over at 49.5. This is one I plan to put on the card. Just hadn't yet as I was waiting to see where the numbers would break. But that'll do it for us. If you have any suggestions, comments, please leave them below. If you have any questions or would like to interact, I am on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. DMs are open. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow and throughout the week, taking all the weekday games down. And myself and Ben Rosen will do the weekend on betting you. Until next time, good luck. We'll see you guys later.